What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, as the beat goes on, same stuff, different day. So this whole leaked image of Steam on whatever mock-up of a UI of a future, possibly Xbox, probably PC thing, blah, 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 has blown up more so in the Pony Donkey Unicorn community because they are scared. They're scared of the possibility of PlayStation games being able to be easily played on Xbox. Because PlayStation has committed to putting their games on Steam. If Steam is on Xbox, that means PlayStation games are on Xbox. Now, I've heard Refudge, I think mainly just him, talking about, oh, they're already blocking games off the NVIDIA, whatever. I forgot what the hell the thing's called. Right there, streaming box. So what makes you think they can't do it for the Xbox? I'm like, that's not how it works, because that's a streaming thing that's bespoke, right? What Xbox is making is a machine that plays PC code. Now, some people dumb it down. Some people, they try to play it off like, oh, it's just a less powerful PC. What do you think consoles are? They're less powerful PCs. Dummies. You ever remember the PS5 Pro came out? Oh, it's better than the 5090. Smack, smack. He got smacked. Oh, it's a 4070 D-bash. Smack, smack. He got smacked. Because Digital Foundry said it, and then they had to retract it because they were wrong. And they are, they're nice to Sony a lot of the times, but they will always err on the side of actual facts than fanboyism. And so they were like, yeah, the facts are wrong. We're going to have to correct that right now. And so they did. Richie Rich went up in there and said, yeah, no, this is not, it's more like a 4060 super. Did he say super or, I don't know, something? 4060 something. Not 4070. Anyway, so that notion, that narrative they're trying to create, like, oh, it's a less powerful PC. Why would you want to get that? Just get a regular PC. It's like, first of all, it'd be cheaper than a regular PC, probably. Or it'd be comparable to a PC of its same specs, which makes more sense. I only say that is because it might cost them more to... No, actually, you know what? It might cost less to manufacture a bespoke PC console, if that makes sense. Like a Steam box, like a Steam machine, basically. It might cost less because there's actually less materials, because you'll have one motherboard as opposed to two, meaning main motherboard and a GPU. Or they could do a double... I mean, they did a sister motherboard on the Xbox Series X. Why couldn't they do a sister motherboard for the GPU chip, which makes it more in line with a PC? I don't know, whatever. They'll figure it out. They're smart people. But my thing is that, Refudge, he's a dummy. He's saying whatever he's saying. He's a dummy. But MBG, I was watching Alex, and it was an hour. It was cut out from one of his streams, his live streams, and he was in a banana suit all the time, and he was listening to MBG kind of walk himself through what this means, what the possibility of Steam on Xbox means to PlayStation. And he tried to, it's smart because I'm like, look. The whole idea of consoles from back in the day, right, was because PCs were not for gamers. They were mainly just word processors. That's how they started off, as a word processor. Then the PC came out, and it's like, it's a word processor plus you could do some code. Oh, okay. And then Apple came out with their Windows type of UI. I forgot what they called it. And then it's like, oh, this is better. Let's do art. And then and Bill Gates bought Windows from, I don't know, what did he buy? He bought DOS, I think, from from Xerox, something like that. Well, anyway, I'm not going through the history of PC. The point is that consoles were bespoke and they were more for children. It was a toy, basically. And that's why, you know, back in the day, you see there's this whole thing about, the violence in video games or children and blah, blah, blah. Because it was the first generation, Gen X, right? They were the first. We were the first to experience video game consoles. Now that we're older, and there have been a couple of other gens to experience video games, it's not the same. And the technology has evolved in a way that your phone, what's your phone? You know, ask yourself the question, what is your phone? Say it's just a phone. Some people use it more for Instagram pictures, right? Sure. Some people, little kids, they're just playing games, Candy Crush or whatever. They're playing Minecraft. It's their console, basically. What it is a portable computer with a screen on it that you put in your pocket. And you can make calls, but do you really make a lot of calls, or do you just FaceTime? Do you WhatsApp? Do you actually use the cell network, or do you're just getting data? You're just watching YouTube. So basically, phones are computers, right? Consoles are computers. Now, the whole idea of what's a computer? See, people are, this is where if people are having issues or problems with what's going on, is because they're closed-minded, they're narrow-minded, and they can't see the big picture, and they can't distinguish technology. They want to be specific and bespoke, and not bespoke, but they want to be specific to reinforce their argument of consoles are dead, Xbox is dead, they're not no more competition, blah, 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 all those dumb things, right? But if you dumb it down, because that's what they're trying to do, but you dumb it down to the basics, right? Microsoft, Xbox are not out of the video game industry war. Let's just call it that, right? That's a bad name, but we'll figure out a better name for it. They're not out of the competition, right? They are still in the competition because they're making a hardware. They are first party making a hardware. What it is, does it matter how it operates, or does it matter that it plays your Xbox games, right? That's the does it play Xbox games? Then that's an Xbox. You see how the marketing works? This is an Xbox, your phone's an Xbox, your PC is an Xbox, your TV is an Xbox. Whatever they make to sell to you is an Xbox. Why? Because it plays Xbox games. You could argue that PlayStation 5 is an Xbox because you're playing Xbox games on it. You could argue that. I mean, it's all in how you look at the whole picture on the business side, on the hardware side, all these things. So if Microsoft/Xbox makes a product to sell to consumers that is in direct competition with whatever the PlayStation 6 happens to be, how are they out of the war? How are they not competing? And so whoever says that are idiots, period. Whoever says, they fell out, they're not competing anymore. And people are throwing that around like it's just a nomenclature, like regular nomenclature. Like, no, everybody say it. Everybody knows, like, no, that's not it. Because when they come up with a handheld and it destroys everybody and everybody's buying one, which, I mean, that might be the case. Hopefully. Not so much because I want them to win, but I want someone to make a product that's like, yes. And I do have a lot of confidence in Microsoft's ability to make products like hardware, because if you look at their track record as far as hardware, ever since the 360, right? 360 was bad because the red ring deck, it was a hardware, it was a manufacturing flaw of some with the solder, blah, 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 right? And then the Xbox One, they were scared. So they were conservative. They didn't want to have a 360. They didn't want to have red ring of death anymore. Again, so they played it safe and they underclocked their machine basically, and they made it big and they made sure it was cool and didn't overheat. And that was a mistake, but you know, given that they lost $1 billion the previous generation, I can see why they would do that. But still, if you think about it, the Xbox One isn't a horrible machine. It's solid. It's just, I don't even know if there is a failure. I mean, sure, there is a failure rate on every console, but you didn't hear anything, nothing. And then when the Xbox One X, forget about it. They were like, okay, now we know what's up. Boom. That's the best console. One of the best consoles that generation. I mean, it was the best console that generation as far as specs go. And as far as just performance, whisper quiet, all that good stuff, right? Then the S, then the Series S, Series X, those are really good machines. The S, I got the XS initially because I was like, let me just get this and, you know, get into the next generation. I played a couple of games. Then I got the X and I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I got this now. And I got no problems, man. It's a great machine. It's not too big. It's not ugly. It's inconspicuous. It's a nice little cube. You go, boop, put it, get bleep. You can put a little jacket on it like, blap. It's nice. You can't put a jacket on a PlayStation 5. That thing is like got arms and fins sticking out. Like, how you supposed to dress that thing? Can't even put a hat on it. You can't do nothing. That's a piece of hot trash garbage. Okay, that's not one. But the fact that they're making a consumer electronics device, hardware, that's what they're making. There's no discussion about, oh, they're not in a console war anymore. It's like, why do you say that? What's your proof? When they stop making hardware, like Sega stopped making hardware, then it's like, okay, well, they're not in hardware competition, but they're still part of the industry. They can still, like Sega could, it's going to be hard for them to do this, but they could become the biggest publisher in the world if they play their cards right and do all these things. I mean, hypothetically, obviously, but they could. There's nothing to say that they couldn't. You look at Epic, right? They don't have a console. They got the biggest game on the planet. They don't have a console. They're making so much money. They don't have a console. So if you don't have a console, doesn't mean anything, really. It's actually, the console is kind of a hindrance because you have to make a bespoke version of said game for that console, which is money and resources, right? Plus you had to make the console, which is R&D, right? But if you make a machine that is an easier way to play PC code, PC games, and you're already putting everything on PC anyway, Xbox is putting their games on PC day and day, PlayStation will soon after, then they're cutting out a giant part of production and they're saving a lot of money because they don't have to make another version for the Xbox Series Z or whatever they're going to call it, right? Series X2. It's called the X2. They don't have to make a bespoke version because the PC version is the version for the next Xbox. And so they can call it the Xbox Series X X2. I was trying to meld it with PC, but that's enough. They can call it whatever they want. They can make it look like whatever they want. But as long as it plays the same code, like I said before in previous videos, if it plays the same code as PC and they don't have to make another version for PC, that's a super. How much money do you think Microsoft is going to save just by that alone? By not having to have their studios dedicate time, money, resources to make a bespoke version for console here, console A, console B, right? And now, check it. PlayStation becomes the odd man out because more people will play the PC version across PC, across handheld PCs, and across whatever the next Xbox is called. That's 3 different machine groups, if you will, that will be playing the same code, but the PlayStation version is not. So they need to have a specific extra, we got to make one for them too. But since the PlayStation 6 will be, I don't know, it'll probably be backwards compatible with PlayStation 5, but what will happen probably with some of these developers is that, we don't have enough money to make the PlayStation 5 version, so it's going to be delayed, or we're going to have to wait, or, yeah, everything's shifting over the PC, if you will. And I'm not sure what Nintendo's doing. I mean, the Switch is a NVIDIA PC basically. I think they're using the NVIDIA chip, right? The X1 or something. So, all this rhetoric about, oh yeah, the console war is over and all that stuff. I mean, yes, but it's not because Xbox isn't making a console anymore. It's because they're changing the game. They're changing how consoles work. Listen, remember when consoles were consoles and they had CD add-ons? Remember that? CD? I mean, CD is just a medium to put your game on, right? So everything's digital now. So like back in the day, you needed a special cartridge and it fit in a special shape. It go bloop, you put it in the cartridge slot, and it's basically a circuit board connected to it. It's basically a sister board or a daughter board connected. It's more of a daughter board connecting to the main motherboard, right? That's what cartridges are. And so that doesn't exist anymore, except for if you want to. I mean, not really, but the Switch is the closest thing, but that's mainly just a memory chip that it has the code on it, and you plug it in, and then the code gets dumped onto the motherboard. So not even that is the same or similar because of how these systems work now. And I mean, think about it logically as far as businesses, as far as like if you're looking at Xbox, you're looking at PlayStation, Nintendo's separate. I think they're still going to stick with hardware, cartridges. But doesn't it make more sense to have one code that you're because that was the whole thing this generation, right? Oh, we got to make a specific Series S version. Oh man, we can't do that. Oh man, we can't. Oh, Series S is too hard because it's so weak. Blah blah blah. Right? They made every excuse in the book not to do it. The main thing is like is time, money, and resources. Is staff. It's like, yo, you give these people enough time and money, they will do everything and anything, and the game will be the best game ever created. But that's not how it works. They don't get unlimited time, money, or resources. They don't, because that way you get Star Citizen and the game never comes out, and it's 12 years later or however long it is, and people are buying ships for $30,000 and. I mean, it works for them, but that is an outlier. That is the people who play Star Citizen only play Star Citizen. That's all they do. They're not going, I'm going to play Minecraft. Like, nope. They're like, Star Citizen, I paid $50,000 for this ship. I'm going to make sure that it is shining. I got to go to the ship wash. You fly through the ship wash and then that'd be crazy. Do you have to have a ship? I mean, I know like marine vessels need to be cleaned because of the salt water and stuff, but spaceships. I mean, we have a few spaceships, but they don't. Do they? I guess they refurbish them when they come back and they set them up for launch again. But that's not. I'm talking about reusable vehicles. Now, okay, that's a tangent. But anyway, I appreciate your answer. Like and subscribe. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this whole console war rhetoric and MBG trying to logic his way through the possibility that Steam being on the next Xbox and how it will destroy PlayStation, and how Refudge is talking about, oh, they're gonna block the games on the next Xbox. And I'm like, that's not that. If they block the game, they will have to block it off of Steam, because that's what it is. Steam. It's not the Xbox. It's Steam. And so Microsoft is smart. They can do it so that they can make a console that is basically it's a console, right? It looks like a console, acts like a console, but the insides tell the internet that it's a PC, and they also tell Steam that it's a PC. So when it plays the games, it's just a PC. And so how can Sony block that? How can Sony block a computer, a bespoke computer? That's like saying, oh, I bought an Asus. I bought an MSI laptop, gaming laptop, and Sony blocks that machine. That's what that means. That's what Reforge is trying to say, that they're gonna block a PC from Steam. It don't make any sense. Anyway, I'll talk to you on the next one. Till the wait.